I am Jaclyn. I am the marketing manager at Cleveland Public Power, and I am the co-chair of the City of Cleveland Black History Month Committee. I want to welcome you to our final program today. I am filling in for Director Grady Stevenson. He is the director of our Community Relations Board. And so on behalf of Director Stevenson and Mayor Frank G. Jackson, I welcome you to the final virtual presentation for the 2021 Black History Month Committee. All month, we have interviewed Clevelanders making history today as they work to strengthen Black families in their quest for equity and equality. We have examined the effects of health, religion, spirituality, education, community outreach, social activism, the role of our fathers, and public service to help families in Cleveland. The conversations have been thought-provoking and inspired some to bite the bullet and get the COVID-19 vaccine. We are closing with a look at how we can help the youngest members of our family and how a local organization is rebranding itself to continue the work they do in strengthening our families. It has been our honor and privilege to bring this programming to you. And without delay, I will welcome our guest, Dr. Jaclyn Chisholm, who is the Chief Executive Officer of what is formerly known as the Council for Economic Opportunities in Greater Cleveland. It is now known as Step Forward. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. I am going to tell you a little more about Dr. Chisholm before we begin our conversation. Dr. Chisholm oversees the largest community action agency in Ohio. Step Forward is a private nonprofit dedicated to transforming lives through education, personal and professional development programs, and support services. I would say that most of us think about the organization and think Head Start, but they are much more than a Head Start agency. Prior to joining Step Forward, Dr. Chisholm served as Chief Executive Officer of the Global Music Cultural Center, Museum and Cultural Arts Center planned for Atlanta, Georgia. She is a former Vice President of Planning and External Affairs at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and Museum, where she was responsible for the development and implementation of the museum's strategic plan, management of government relations, and community outreach activities, and project director for the construction of the Rock Hall's $13 million library and archives. Dr. Chisholm also served as Associate Vice President for Community Partnerships at Case Western Reserve University, where she developed the Center for Community Partnerships. She is the recipient of many awards. I will not name them today, but you can check out their website to find out what those are. She is a Cleveland native, a graduate of Case Western Reserve University, where she earned 3 degrees, a Bachelor of Arts in Medical Anthropology, a Master of Arts in Psychological Anthropology, and a doctorate in Psychological Anthropology with an emphasis in Educational Anthropology. Most recently, she earned certificates in nonprofit leadership, nonprofit financial stewardship, creating public value, and performance measurement for effective management of nonprofit organizations from the John F. Kennedy School of Government at Howard University. She has earned additional certificates from Harvard Business School Executive Education, Cornell University Administrative Management Institute, and the HERS Bryn Mawr Summer Institute for Women in Higher Education Administration, and was selected as a University of Pennsylvania Wharton Executive Fellow. That's a lot of Ivy League. Dr. Chisholm has served on numerous boards and currently serves on the boards of the Cuyahoga County Early Childhood Education Partnership Council, Olivet Institutional Baptist Church, and as an advisory member of the Pre-Forklift Early Childhood Compact and United Way's Accountable Health Communities Initiative. That was a mouthful, but that just tells us that you know a lot, and therefore you can add to the value of this conversation. So again, welcome you, Dr. Chisholm, to our final Black History Month program, and I look forward to talking to you today.
Thank you very much.
We're going to start off with the question. You came to CEOGC, now Step Forward, from the Global Musical Cultural, as I mentioned, and I mentioned your involvement with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and Museum. So how is it your return to your hometown brought you to Step Forward, which many think of only when it comes to their Head Start program?
Well, first, let me thank you all for the honor to being recognized in this way with the mayor, the Director Stevens, yourself, the Black History Planning Committee, and also William Bass, because he's the person who nominated me. And I don't start these conversations usually without saying, you know, were it not for God and his grace, I wouldn't be here. And all the wonderful things that you said about me in my bio, none of that would have been accomplished without him. So again, I thank you for that. So what brought me here? You mentioned that I'm a native Clevelander, have been here most of my life, moved to Atlanta because it was something that I felt I needed to do. I'd been at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I got a call from Atlanta that they wanted to put a music museum there. And so my husband prayed about it and we went. What brought me back? As with any new startup, funding. So the funding fell through, and so we decided to come back home because Cleveland is my home. How did I get here? That's a great question. What wound up happening was it started when I was in church. We had gone back to church and somebody kind of tapped me and said, "Are you looking for a position?" I said, "Yeah, I am." And so, you know, he said, "There's this position available with CEOGC at the time." He said, "I think you'd be good for it." And I said, "Okay," you know, so I just kind of put it in the back of my mind, started looking through, did a Google search on the organization, and then other people started asking me the same thing. I mean, it got to the point where, you know, all these people were talking to me about it, and I said, "Okay, God, you know what? I'm going to put my hat in, and we'll see what happens." 100 people applied for the position, and I got it. And so that's how I came here. But I think the most important part of the story of why is I believe in what we do. And any leader needs to have a passion for the mission of that organization. And so I've often told the story of, to my staff of, you know, I grew up in a single parent household after my mother divorced my father because of domestic violence. And so that was about 7 or 8 years old. So all of a sudden we went from a 2-family income to a 1-family income, and my father wasn't consistent with his payments to my mother. So all of a sudden we were eligible to receive all of this assistance. She tried to get on welfare. They told her she made $5 too much. It was the second time I saw my mother cry. And I remember government cheese and the bread and the, you know, NA sandwiches and things like that. So to me, it's a privilege to lead an organization that does the work that we do. We help people who need help. And that's why we were created. Like you said, a lot of people know us for Head Start, or they know us for the Home Energy Assistance Program, HEAT. So I thank you for this forum to be able to have this conversation.
Yes, I think that as far as myself is concerned, I always knew about you because of the Head Start program. I had nieces and nephews who went through the program, so I knew about that. I did not know about all of the other things that come with it. So Step Forward is much more than Head Start. Can you explain some of the services that you do provide to help the county?
Sure. So let me start with Head Start because that is the one that most people know, are familiar with. The Head Start program, we work with pregnant moms, and we also work with children 6 weeks old to 5 years old. And so you just have to have income eligibility, and the program is free to you. But we also work with the parents. And so we have leadership training for the parents, parent development, you know, child development training for parents as well. So that's, as you mentioned, most people know us for that. What they don't know is that we also do counseling. We have case managers on site. But now, because of COVID, We're doing rental and mortgage assistance. We're doing water and sewer. We've always done the home energy assistance, which is usually the gas. So that's always in place. And then we have workforce development. A lot of people get our job listings. Because when I was working at Case, I used to get CEOGC's job listing. So we have people who work with clients who are interested in either a new job, a new career, something like that, helping them to find something else, but also training them as to what is an employer looking for. So we have lots of relationships with employers who are looking for really good people.
Okay. The pandemic has hit us hard. How did it impact Step Forward?
The biggest way that it's impacted us, number one, as an employer, we have to make certain that we're taking care of the people who take care of our clients. So we've had to make certain that we had the PPE, we had to make certain that we disinfect everything. So that's a big issue for our employees and making certain that they feel safe coming to this environment. Secondly, we've lost a number of our teachers. The Head Start staff in particular, you've got some people who are in their late 60s, early 70s still teaching because they love teaching. Well, because of COVID, they're afraid to come to work. And so we've lost a few of them as a result of that. So we're looking for replacement teachers. And what I think a lot of people aren't aware of, the program with Head Start in particular, if a person comes with a high school diploma, but they're interested in working with small children, we will help them get their first a certificate. It's called a Child Development Associate. We will pay for that. If they decide that they want to further their education and get an associate's degree, we pay for that. If they're interested in getting a bachelor's degree, we pay for that. So I thank you for this opportunity, but we're looking for teachers. We're specifically looking for teachers now. On the other side of the house, the clients that we serve, because of COVID and so many people losing their jobs, there are people who are coming for support who've never had to come to an organization like ours seeking help. And so we have been inundated with, applications for rental assistance in particular, people who, who are just at that point where they don't know what else to do. We also provide vouchers for furniture and for clothing and for food and as many ways as we can possibly help. That's what we're doing. But you can imagine, because the need is so great, there's also stress on our staff trying to meet that need. So that's the biggest impact of COVID on the agency.
So as I mentioned in my intro, I work for Cleveland Public Power, so I'm familiar with the assistance that you guys offer normally with the heat programs and things like that. And I know that you guys were received funding or were handling the CARES Act funds.
Right.
Now, was that process very similar to the heat process, or was there added layers which therefore taxed your staff even more?
Well, again, I'm glad you mentioned that, because not only did we receive CARES Act money, then there was the Community Development Block Grant money that recently came, and some other funds that they're sending our way. The process is not necessarily the same. HEAP is a well-oiled machine. That one we've been doing for, almost 50 some odd years. But the rental and the mortgage assistance, it required different kinds of documentation. And we didn't have a system in place, so we had to create a system. And this is all over the state, I'm sure all over the country. All of us are trying to make this stuff up as we go along, and how do you serve the best? So we had to figure out what software we needed to use in order to track it. We think we're in a better place. We're about to, matter of fact, move to another system that we found has been a more efficient way of processing the applications. So, I mean, all of us have been trying to figure out how to do this.
Okay. Now with this, as you say, you have clients coming that normally they're not familiar with. This is not part of their norm, but life has happened and they now are looking for assistance. How large are those numbers? Can give us an idea of the impact? We hear that things are, that many people are being impacted. But I'm curious, as on a local level, Would you say that it's, a couple thousand, a couple hundred,
Yeah, not a couple of thousand. um,
Mm.
we'll deal with the CARES money in particular, the mortgage and rental assistance. We have received over 5,000 applications just in our organization. We are
Wow.
partners with CHN Partners, what used to be called, was it Cuyahoga Health or something like that, housing neighbors. We've partnered with them and they've received over, I think, 12,000 applications. So
Wow.
the two organizations, and remember, this is and still counting. So our numbers under normal circumstances, if we receive, let's say, 500 applications a year for, rental assistance, to get 5,000 and counting from November 1, when the program started, to now.
Wow.
The exponential growth. I mean, and the need is great. And that's not counting, and that's just the rental assistance. That's not counting sewer and water. It's not counting anybody who needed food or transportation or anything like that.
Okay. So moving forward, how do you see Step Forward being an integral part of strengthening Black families as they seek equity and equality?
Okay. Well, I think the most important thing, when you were kind enough to read my bio, education is important. Education, I've said, saved my life and it changed my life. And we're known for education and early education in particular. And people are just coming to understand the importance of training your children, training the babies. At one point in time, we just thought that, they would just make it to school, kindergarten. But now the importance of that is that if you train them early in life to help them understand what the expectations are, okay?
Mm-hmm.
What we found are Head Start children do better as adults. So that education component early on is very, very important. For us, in addition to just the education, it's, imagine the majority of the people who come to us for services are African Americans, the majority, vast majority. And as far as I know, that's always been the case. So for us, we take tremendous pride in helping people move from where they are to where they want to be. That's why we have so many programs. So we meet basic needs first and foremost, but then we ask the question, especially on the workforce side, what do you want to do? And then we help you get there. And for families, we do life skills training. We do, like I said, family training. We do a little bit of everything just to help people move along. And what happens, unfortunately, is that people stop dreaming. And that my passion is to help people dream again. And so first, let's find out where you are, figure out where you want to go. And then we have partnerships. I don't expect this agency to do everything. We can't be all things to all people. I know there are other areas or other organizations that are one-stop shops. I want us to focus on the things that we do especially well. And I want us to focus on areas where no one else is doing that. And so if we can do that, for example, we started doing car repair recently because we did a survey and we found out from our current clients and prospective clients that their biggest issue was, I can't get my car fixed. And if I can't get my car fixed, I can't go to my job. So we created a car repair program for that. So I feel that our agency, in terms of strengthening the Black family, is we try to make certain we take care of the basic needs first and foremost and build from there.
Okay. Now, as I mentioned, you guys have recently changed your name from CEOGC to Step Forward. What led to that, and how do you think that is going to assist you with what you do?
Sure. What led to it was we had a strategic planning process over about almost 2.5 years. And we were asking the question, at no point did we ask anyone, what do you think of the name? Do you think we need to change it? We decided to see if that was going to come out in some of the surveys that we had. And every survey we conducted, that issue came up. And even as you were doing the introductions, it was the Council for Economic Opportunities in Greater Cleveland. It's a lot. It's a
Right.
mouthful.
It's a mouthful.
It's a mouthful. So then the question we had was exactly what do we do? And we help people step forward. And so once that came up, it's so much easier. It's a visual and it's an action that people take. And House for Economic Opportunities in Greater Cleveland, it didn't tell you the action part of it. And so it gives us an opportunity to rebrand the organization, but to help people understand what this organization does. That's what we want to do. We want to help you step forward. And our website is stepforwardtoday.org.
Okay. That sounds good. That pretty much sums it up for the questions that I had. Is there anything that we haven't discussed that you think is vital for the community to know about what Step Forward can offer during these difficult times?
To me, the most important thing for this agency, at least this is the direction that I've tried to move us in the almost 6 years that I've been here. We always wake up every day with understanding our why. Why are we here? What are we doing? And we try to make certain that we put the client first and foremost. My job as the CEO is to make certain that I take care of our staff because they take care of our clients. But I want people to understand who we are and that we're here. And too often, people, as you mentioned earlier, they know the program. They know two programs. They know HEAP and they don't know Head Start. They don't know anything else about the organization. So rebranding gives us the opportunity to reintroduce the organization in a way that maybe we have not been introduced before. So I want anyone who's paying attention, who's here, and thank you so much for joining us today. Matter of fact, and a little plug for the Community Relations Board is please support them. I used to work with them very closely when I was at Case Western Reserve and could not have done a lot of the work that we did in the community without them. But more importantly, I think you need to know that we're here and that we have a committed staff of people who want to help. And they get up every morning, myself included, trying to figure out how can we do it better for you. So please, if you have a need or someone who has a need, have them reach out to us. Our phone number is 216-696-9077. Again, it's 216-696-9077. And then our website is stepforwardtoday.org. And again, I just thank you for the opportunity to do this and for the honor that you have afforded me today.
Now we do have, okay, so he's missing out on everything. And that's the one thing I think about. Just 1 second. I want to read it to you so that you will know exactly what you're getting. But we are presenting a token of our appreciation, which is a plaque from our committee to you. And Director Stevenson, I'm giving him a new title, and I will drop that off to you probably in the next week or so, so that you can display it. But 1 second here. So the plaque says, strengthening Black families through the quest for equity and equality. We would like the 2021 Black History Month Committee would like to honor Dr. Jaclyn Chisholm for your continued leadership and tenacity. February 2021.
Thank you.
We'll get that to you in short order. We thank you for taking time out of your day to be a part of our celebration. We thank our audience for joining us, and we invite everyone to watch our programming. If you have not followed us, we have programming available on YouTube. The City of Cleveland TV 20 City of Cleveland YouTube page has a section devoted to the various Black History Month programming. I hope that everyone has enjoyed what we have offered this year. Our plan was to let you know who are the individuals in our city who are making a difference, even in the midst of a pandemic, because we all must work together to make this community and everyone better. So thank you again, Dr. Chisholm. Enjoy your weekend. Thank you, audience. Thank you, Mayor Jackson, for giving us the opportunity to do this. Thank you to the Office of Communications for their assistance with this, and to TV20 for all of their assistance. Have a great weekend, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.